everybody, welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth, and this is the 505 Sports Venture Foundation program, where we come to you weekly to discuss current events in name, image, and likeness world, and of course what's going on with the athletic department and the teams at the University of New Mexico. So before we get to our guests, and we have one of our old buddies on today to talk about big things that are happening here in Albuquerque this weekend and in the recent past, I want to remind you all out there, if you're a Lobo fan, or you live in Albuquerque, or you're New Mexican, it's important to support local journalism. Here's today's Albuquerque Journal sports page. It's not expensive. I get it delivered to my house. Go online if you're not into the newspaper. Subscribe. Let's keep the Journal and local journalism alive. Where else are you going to get up-to-the-minute Lobo news? If the Journal's not around, there's no place else to get it. You can go online, try to find bloggers. It's not the same. We need to keep local journalism alive. We need to support the Albuquerque Journal. It just gives us there's 2 stories this week about what's going on Saturday, and we will get to that. But it's up to us to keep it going. So before we get started with our first guest, I also want to say thanks. My guy Adrian from the City of Angels Behind the Glass, for doing a great job. I know he's secretly getting ready for the Dodgers run again. And always a thanks to Steve Davis, president of ProView, who gives us the use of the studio and this opportunity to come to you every week from the beautiful location here in downtown Albuquerque overlooking Central Avenue. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with our guy and our guest, and we'll talk all about Lobo football next. Stay with us.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kurt Roth, 505 SVF. We got a lot to talk about and nowhere near enough time, so I want to get right to it. Our guest, you know who he is, Lobo beat writer Sean Reeder. He's going to talk all about football because, wow, welcome. First time, the 115th matchup, rivalry, which, by the way, it's pretty lopsided in wins and losses.
74-35.
There you go.
I believe. I think
2-1.
that's the record.
2-1. It's a 2-1 domination, but not recently. And we've had some interesting times with Diego and all that stuff. And They beat us they beat UNM, not us, beat UNM twice, 2 times in a row. Bronco went down there last year, and then we put 50 on them. But amazing, first time since '92 that both teams have a winning record.
That blew me away. I mean, and I think it's the first time since the early '60s that they've played a game between both teams with winning records at University Stadium.
Wow.
So just crazy to think about.
All right.
Truly.
Well, there you go. I mean, we're going to show you a little stat in a minute, but go to the game. All right. Before we get to what's going on now, we'd be remiss. We had a technical difficulty last week. We could have gone over an amazing event in Pasadena. Lobos outplayed them start to finish, left some points on the board or off the board, and dominated. Like overall thought.
Yeah, I mean, dominating in the way that they did. They dominated up front defensively. They dominated. No sacks, but I mean, they put a ton of pressure on Nico Iamaleava. They did a really nice job against the run. And the game flow worked out where, they were playing from ahead the entire time, and UCLA wanted to throw it more. Some of the play calling on their end was a little baffling at points. And then dominated up front. Did a really good job protecting on the offensive side of the ball. Did a really nice job protecting Jack Lane. But the main story was how well they were able to run it. Scott Humphrey obviously doesn't play beyond the first quarter with kind of a little bit of an ankle thing. And Damon Banks just steps up and has the game of his career in the Rose Bowl and seals things off for them. It's hard to say much more about the win. It has been so significant. It is worthy of all of the accolades and the hype that it has kind of received.
Well, I love when you use the word hype. We were getting some preseason hype about the various areas of the roster that were strong, some question marks, and we saw it play out. Scott Humphrey goes down. All we had heard, all Sean had written about, not all, excuse me. There was a lot of emphasis from the get-go, from the late spring, about how deep the running back room was. And I believe I heard the stat, we're the only team, UNM's the only team that had 4 running backs that obviously none of them were on the Lobos last year. Each one led their team in rushing. So we heard it. Scott goes out. And I got to tell you, I was lucky enough to be on the sideline. I see him limping around, no helmet, and I'm like, oh, no. Didn't seem to matter at all.
No, yeah. I thought the way that they kind of crafted the game plan to fit Damon Bankston, Day-Day Buchanan, DJ McKinney, and just kind of take advantage. I mean, that's why you brought in all those guys. So if a guy like Scott who is kind of the clear lead back, does go down, they got other guys. And this is a team. This is an offense that really wants to run the ball, and they did a heck of a job running it, and I think it inspired a lot of confidence in fans going
No
forward.
doubt about it. Well, Scott is explosive, no doubt. I'm not he's not just a bruiser, but Bankston has a completely different game to the end. I mean, he's kind of the back you'd see in the pros, maybe catch a few more passes, a little smaller but quick, and that touchdown run down the sideline was exquisite.
It was sensational. It was great hearing him talk about it too, because that was a play that was supposed to break in, and they ran it earlier in the game, and he noticed that their linebacker, number 6, I'm blanking on his name, was kind of playing it in a certain way, and he's like, I think I can just get around. Made a miss, and then stayed in bounds, and the next thing you know, they're up 28-10.
Unbelievable. I also liked, and I don't know if this has happened in my memory. Well, it hasn't happened in my memory. The game's over. The Lobos are inside the 10. It's like, all we got to do is take a knee, and the offense is running the ball up the middle into the end zone. So probably sealed the fate of the coach over on the other side, if it hadn't been sealed before. But just no mercy. Let's score some more, and it just put a stamp on it. But a great win.
Yeah, far and away the most. And there was the Wazoo game last year, the Fresno State game 2 years ago, but this is far and away the most significant win I've seen in my time of the beat.
Yeah, well, your time of the beat, I can't remember. I guess you can go back, for me, go back to Boise State on the night Holly Holm won the world championship. But boy, oh boy, UCLA. And I have to say, from a personal note, I had been in the Rose Bowl for one game before that. One game, and it was the 1986 Super Bowl.
Oh.
New York Giants, Phil Simms, 22 out of 25. Little different crowd. We had I was in the 98th row of 102 seats. Great, still a great view. That Rose Bowl is just a beautiful stadium and an incredible. It's like next to a golf course. We had a pre UNM party on the golf course, and it's just a great setting. But to go in there and watch, I said to my companion, who's not a big football fan or hasn't been, with about 6 minutes left, I said, look at the aisles. And you saw the LA crowd.
Yeah.
Where are they going? They're out of here. So a fantastic win, early on in the Eck era. And here we go, New Mexico State. So we're going to get to that in a second. I want to tell you, we're going to show you a graphic, but not right now. I don't think we have it. We'll get it up in a little bit. GoLobos.com. If you don't buy a ticket by tomorrow, you're not going to be able to buy one. It sure looks like we're heading out to a sellout over there on Cesar Chavez and University. So GoLobos.com. Go get your tickets now. We're going to get an update from the athletic department during the break where we are in ticket sales. So we're going to take a break. Stay with us. We're going to get back with Sean, and we're going to talk Aggies and Lobos. Stay with us.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Kurt Roth, 505 SVF. Sean, writer from the Journal, is here, beat writer, and monster weekend. We already set it up, coming off a win against UCLA. Lobos with a winning record. Aggies with a winning record. Do we have a graphic? I emphasized this when we went off. We're in touch with the UNM athletic department. We have a graphic that's now outdated. If you look up on the screen, you see this was earlier yesterday, 20,000 tickets sold. This morning, the check mark went up to 27,000, and I believe as of 10 o'clock this morning, they're north of 30,000. So you know the weather looks perfect the rest of the week. New Mexico is notorious for those last-minute guys. Show up, stand online. Don't be one of those guys hoping to get tickets on Saturday. My gut is they'll be gone by Friday morning. GoLobos.com. One of the best deals you can buy. Tickets are ridiculously well priced. Let's put it that way. You are not paying $100 for a ticket to go see the Lobos. Let's join in. Let's make it a big party event on Saturday. Tailgating starts as early as 11. Let's do it. All right. Big game, sellout crowd, I think. At least 30,000 plus, and it'll be something Lobo fans aren't really used to. Aggies, 2-1. Beat Bryant, beat Tulsa, got their butt smoked down in Louisiana. Is that where
La Tech,
right?
Ruston, Louisiana.
Ruston, Louisiana.
Tough place to play.
Oh, and good team. So what, generally give us your overall thought on where the Aggies are from what you see.
Yeah, 2-1 I think was probably the expected start through 3 games for this team. I was a little baffled that they were kind of underdogs to Tulsa in certain respects. Now, that is kind of aging better in some ways because Tulsa went and basically ended Mike Gundy's career last week at Oklahoma State. No, the big storyline last year of New Mexico State was, they had some pieces on defense and they had some pieces on offense, but they had absolutely nothing. They got absolutely nothing out of the quarterback spot. Not even close to adequate production. They ended up hitting the portal. They brought in a Montana transfer, Logan Fife. He is formerly of Fresno State. He's a 6-year guy. He's played against the Lobos in the past. And Fife, I think with him a little bit, I think he's clearly an upgrade for them. He does have a little bit of a turnover thing at this moment. The La Tech game in particular was kind of the point there, right? Because that was a game where the defense didn't play all that bad, but the offense was giving some things up, and that was really kind of the problem there. I think he had 2 interceptions, and then he had just kind of dropped the ball. I do think he is a clear upgrade compared to what they had last year, and I do think he will present some problems for UNM in some regards. The big thing with them on that offense, too, though, has been they have not been able to run the ball effectively. They don't run the ball a ton. It's not like UNM where they really want to run everything through that. But they are 136 out of 136 FBS programs in terms of rushing yards per game. So 47.67 yards per game. It's just not is not going to cut it. I don't care how much you run it or you don't or whatever. This is a team that does want to run it.
So, taking a little aside here, strategy-wise, I love the Lobo coaching staff. I mean, when you look at what they've done, limited turnovers. UCLA was a little bit of an anomaly so far with the fumbles and on the goal line, or not making a 4th down a fumble punt. Lobos are not penalized. Discipline. Do you see them playing being aggressively attacking the quarterback position and without being able to run? Do they change their defense? Do they get more aggressive, or do they just continue with the formula that's worked? They've kind of played a very, I don't want to say vanilla. The matchups change, but the strategy has not. They're not blitzing excessively. They're not conceding anything, and I think their defense on pass defense on the sidelines has gotten much improved.
Yeah, no, I think they got to step up and prove that they can stop the run, right? Because NMSU has these averages, but it's only 3 games in and all that. They might have, and they're coming off a bye as well too. Maybe they have a little bit more momentum on the ground game and all that too. But you got to step up and prove that you can do that. I do think they're going to be aggressive on defense, particularly when playing a quarterback like this. The one thing about NMSU is that for as much as they throw it, they really don't give up a ton of sacks. The O-line has done a pretty good job in that regard, and pass pro have done a great job blocking for the run in particular. But I do think they're going to stay aggressive in terms of the game plan, and I think they're going to try and get them into a spot where hey, if you're going to beat us, you got to throw the ball effectively to beat us.
Okay, so do we finally see if New Mexico State can't run the ball, which we're going to assume they're not going to be able to run the ball. I'm going to go out on a limb and say New Mexico State's not going to be able to run the ball. UCLA couldn't run the ball against the Lobos, and except for a few big plays, neither did Michigan.
And I'll be honest, UCLA, I thought they could have had a little bit more rushing success. They just kind of gave up on it.
Yeah. Well, they paid their quarterback was so high paid, they wanted him to do whatever, and it didn't work, and it cost the whole staff their job. Do we see some sacks from the Lobos? If we got to make the kid throw the ball, we've got to get to him sooner or later.
This is a really interesting part of this because UNM has done a pretty good job to this point getting pressure. Getting pressure, but without really closing the job and finishing up. And now the UCLA game, there was a couple with Keyshawn James Newby and quarterback Nico Imaleva where I think for any other guy, it probably would have been a sack.
Right.
Probably, but Nico Imaleva, that's a big dude. It's a strong dude, very athletic, and he managed to get out of it. I do think this is kind of an interesting litmus test for, what we can kind of expect in terms of, your pressure to sack ratio for UNM for the rest of the year, in the sense that NMSU is going to try and get the ball out quickly. Idaho State put that on tape for UNM.
It worked.
Where you get the ball out quickly, it can present some problems and all that, and Eck and company have kind of made it clear that they're aware of that. I think if you're able to get home a couple, get home a good deal. Well, I don't even know what a fair number would be in regards, because I'm not quite sure what NMSU's game plan is either. I think if you're able to get home, it probably should make you feel pretty good about, one, winning the game, and two, kind of, okay, this is a team that is going to get consistent sacks and all that.
Yeah, right.
If they don't, I think it'll be a little bit interesting in that regard, and we'll have to kind of monitor that.
It's going to be interesting no matter what, because it's UNM Aggies sold-out crowd. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk on the other side about what the Lobos are going to try to do. Stay with us.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Don't work that way. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth. This is 505 SVF. We got Sean Rader here, the beat writer for the Journal. And big game this weekend. We're going to get to the Lobos' approach or anticipated approach. But one of the things I'd like to talk about is New Mexicans playing for the University of New Mexico. Now, we went through the whole Pavia thing and the revenge and not being recruited. I think the Aggies have one of their, I'm blanking on his name, one of the players, I think you quote.
Tyler Martinez,
okay,
linebacker.
Was a little pissed off that he wasn't recruited by the Lobos. And I've gotten some feedback, hey, they don't have enough New Mexicans. Now, you have to realize the whole coaching staff came in from outside, and they started to recruit in January. So New Mexicans are, they didn't recruit the high schools. They've done a good job since. But this roster is relatively sparse. But one guy that I'm blown away by how well he's playing, and he's in New Mexico, is David Murphy. Like, how does that work? The first time I met him, I heard he's a New Mexican, and I felt like I tackled him. He was not a physically imposing guy, but he's physically imposing on the field.
Yeah, no, Murph is not a huge guy, but Murph's really quick, and he's a guy, defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski, I know, really likes him too. I talked with him about Murphy in the spring, and he's like, that is like, if we could have 11 David Murphys, like that would be perfect for our defense, right? And he's done a really good job settling in. The way that they primarily use him is kind of in their dime package, so their 6 DB spot.
Right.
Base defense are 4-2-5, 5 DBs. When they are in that dime package, they bring him in, sub out a linebacker. And he's done a really nice job just kind of flying to the ball. He had a couple big tackles in the UCLA game. He really kind of, and honestly the Idaho State game too, frankly. But no, he's a guy that certainly found his role and has been contributing at a pretty high level so far.
Yeah, it's great for the average fan like me to just see this kid around the ball. All of a sudden you see a play, guys go down, up there's Murphy. Like, holy cow, Murphy's has a nose for the ball. I guess that's something that's really hard to coach. You have to have it or you don't. Cleveland High grad. Great to see him succeed. And I think as this Eck administration moves on into the future, I think we're going to see a lot more New Mexico kids. I think that blue-collar mentality that the Eck staff brings appreciates kids who might not get chances elsewhere, but want to play at home, have the opportunity, and obviously this staff has been able to develop players at Idaho. I think we're going to see it here. All right, so now Lobos get the kickoff. They get the kickoff to start the game. Let's hypothesize. What do we see out of the offense from the get-go? What do the Lobos want to do? I mean, against UCLA, they ran like a flea flicker and 2 trick plays. We're not going to see that right off the bat against State.
I don't think they'll be that aggressive from the start. I would be a little surprised if they did not have at least one kind of trick play kind of cooking up. I think it's safe to say that for most games, they really do want to run at least one trick play. I don't think they'll be that aggressive because they're not on the road. They're not playing a P4 opponent. I don't think they'll be that way. But clearly, they're going to run the ball, right? Scott Trey Humphrey is probable to play. I don't know who the first running back will be out. I kind of think Scott Trey probably will play at this point. They are getting wide receiver Keegan Johnson back. This is something that Eck has kind of mentioned in the past, too, and something we've kind of asked about as well. They do kind of want more explosive plays out of the passing game in terms of with the receivers and all that. They've gotten some out of tight end Dorian Thomas, and they've gotten some out of the running backs, running wheel routes out of the backfield and all that, and then taking screens 43 yards for TD against UCLA. But they want to get a little bit more out of that. So I would be surprised if they didn't have a couple more things in to kind of work with that and try and make that happen a bit more. But I think it is kind of clear, right? The avenue to win this game in a lot of respects is, to win most games if you're UNM, is outrush the opponent. They want to outrush the opponent. They want to lean on the ground game, and I think that's pretty clear what's going to happen.
All right, so and one other thing I just want you to comment on it because I feel it when I watch. I love the kid off the field. He battled injury in the spring. He didn't play. He was iffy. Now we've got this quarterback who we saw take an incredible hit to the head in Michigan, get right up and stay in, doesn't have the classic spiral downfield. Let's be honest. Some of his throws are off sometimes. He's a winner. He's a leader, and I think the team believes in him. Am I right?
No, the team believes him, and I think this O-line in particular likes playing for Jack Lane. I mean, Jack is a tough dude, and we were talking to guys after the Michigan game when he kind of took a pounding, and it was hey, I think you probably knew Jack was this tough, but were you a little surprised? And no, we knew Jack was that guy. And Jack's a really nice kid to talk to. So I think in some ways he's kind of the inverse of Logan Fife, right? Like Logan Fife has a lot of big-time throws per PFF.
Right.
And he's got a lot of turnover-worthy throws per PFF. And Jack Lane doesn't have he doesn't have a very high rate of big-time throws, but he's got a very, very low rate, 0 of turnover-worthy throws. So that definitely, for this offense in particular, Jason Eck has kind of talked about, he thinks he's playing at a very high level, and I would expect that to continue.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. What do you expect to see on Saturday? Your gut. What does your gut tell you?
I don't have a score prediction, but I do feel like the last couple years has been maybe a little bit tough to pick, but I've ended up being right on both. I think this is the UNM win. I think there's just a more clear avenue for them to win. They're at home. It's going to be a bumping crowd, and that certainly plays a role, but I am I think I'm concerned about NMSU's ground game. If they can't get things going, I do have a lot of respect for Fife. I think he's a good quarterback, and I have respect for his defense, too. I think they got some good players, particularly in the middle, but I think this is a UNM win.
All right, everybody. Sean, thanks for being here. I can't say it enough. Cherry out this weekend. Saturday, University Stadium. GoLobos.com. You better hurry up and get your tickets because they're going to be gone. This game's going to be sold out. I've got the Lobos in case anyone cares, 38-17. No sweat. We'll see you next week. See if I'm right. You can call me if I'm wrong. I'm Kurt Roth. This is the 505 SVF program. Thanks for watching.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.